Wonderful. Okay, so let's get going here tonight, everybody. So we're gonna go insert ourselves in standing tonight. So let's find ourselves into standing position. My head might get cut off, but I did my best to orient ourselves here. So, as usual for the classes, you do your own pace, you find your own groove, and do what feels right for your body as we go through. I'll give lots of cues, lots of feedback, so feel free to take any adjustments that you need. So just take the time here to find your feet on the ground. So you can do a little bit of rocking back and forth. If you want to as well, you can look down at the toes, maybe see if you can lift the toes and spread them apart. Maybe see if we can lift the big toes up, lift the other 4 toes up. Just create a little bit of connection here with the feet as we're starting in our standing position here tonight. Again, taking the time to find the feedback of all those little foot muscles, feedback of your bare feet hopefully on the mat here. And once you feel pretty comfortable, find some stillness. And so find yourself nice and supported. The knees can be slightly bent here just so we have a little bit of softness in the legs here. And then we're going to have the hands alongside the body. So have the feeling so you can kind of feel the lower rib cage there. Feel free to close your eyes as we start to tune into the breath as we're standing here. So take a nice deep breath in through the nose and out through the nose. And just tune into where the breath is moving in your body tonight. So keep breathing nice and slow in and out through the nose. I'm trying to connect that breath where the hands are. So seeing if you can have those hands spread apart a little bit. So a bit of that lateral movement of that rib cage outwards with each inhale. Letting the hands just soften towards each other on each exhale. And taking the time here again to slow down, to find that breath connection. Just tuning into the body as we're standing here in our Thursday night yoga practice. Maybe setting yourself your intention, your motivation for coming to class tonight. One more breath with our hands on the outside here. And then move the hands so the hands are in front of the belly and then behind at the low back too. So one hand in front, one hand behind. Same thing here. So seeing as we're breathing, where do you feel your breath going? Is it getting stuck up in the chest? Do you feel like it's just your shoulders moving up and moving down? Just see what you can to bring the breath a little bit lower here. And see what you can to bring that connection to that diaphragmatic breathing. That nice full breath here. And taking one more in and out. And then move the hands alongside the body in our mountain pose hands. So palm is facing forward, fingertips nice and spread apart. Again, a bit of softness in those knees, maintaining the connection to the feet here. Eyes can still stay closed and just come back to see where that breath is moving without our hands giving us that feedback. Can we try to maintain that nice 360-degree breath expansions out to the sides, forward and back. Nice kind of balloon expanding low in that belly. And see what's happening as we're breathing here, as we're standing. What do you feel is happening to the shoulders too? Are you feeling any tension in the shoulders? Are you feeling any tension through the neck? What can you do to align yourself a little bit more? So maybe stack the ears over the shoulders, stack the shoulders over the hips over the feet. And find that nice connection to the ground here. Maybe as we're stacked here, picturing each inhale, letting yourself grow a little bit taller. Each exhale, just soften the body a little bit. Good. We'll take one more breath in through the nose here. Let it all go through the mouth with a cleansing breath. Perfect. Let that go a bit. So just shake out the hands. Again, maybe kind of rock back and forward a little bit. Just find a little bit of connection to the movement here. We're going to find that stillness into the feet. Again, as we inhale, arms come up overhead, big reach up. And as we exhale, bring the hands back in through heart center. Good. 2 more like that as we inhale. Nice long breath in. Carry all that air in and exhale. Bring it out. Good. 1 more here. Again, inhale. Scoop all that energy in. And exhale. Release. Good. Bringing both hands forward now. So palms are facing down. Fingers nice and spread apart. I'm just going to change so you can see me from the side. Again, keeping that body stacked here. So we're keeping head, shoulders, hips, knees, and ankles kind of stacked over each other here. Moving just through the shoulders. So we're going to see if we can inhale. We're going to spread the shoulder blades apart as the fingertips reach forward. So fingertips reaching forward, spreading the shoulder blades apart here. And then exhale, bring the shoulder blades in together as the arms kind of scoop in towards the socket there. Good. Inhale, reach shoulder blades apart. Fingertips towards the opposite end there. And exhale, back in. 2 more like that. We're going to inhale, reach, 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 reach. And being mindful not to let that lower body scoop down. So keeping that height in the spine, seeing if we can control the movement just from the shoulder blades here. Good. And then as we come back in through center, we're going to interlace the fingers here. Spread the fingertips away from you. And spread that away from you as you spread your shoulder blades apart. And let your head just sink down a little bit here. So chin comes down into chest. Just feel that nice stretch behind the shoulder blades, behind the back of the head. Take a nice deep breath in and out. Nice deep breath in and out. As we inhale, release the fingers, bring the hands behind the back now. So we're going to interlace the hands behind the back. Shoulder blades come together, chest opens up, chin nice and tucked in here. So we're going to tuck that chin in. Again, finding that connection to the rest of the body like we've already done. So you'll feel a little opening across the front of the chest here. Take a breath in. Exhale, right ear to right shoulder. So let yourself just bring that right ear down towards the right shoulder, feeling a bit of stretch across that left side of the shoulder here. Again, as we're in this position, can you maintain the contact of both feet on the ground? Keep the connection with that softness in the knees, that neutral spine of the pelvis. Take a breath in, head comes into center, and exhale over to the left side. Good. Again, breathing into the right shoulder. Breathing into the opening of the chest. And taking the time here. Connection with the legs. 1 more breath in. As you exhale, release the hands. Head comes back into center. Just shake those hands out there. Again, give yourself a little bit of wiggle, anything that you need, just to find the connection into the body here. Beautiful. Feet again are going to be hip width apart. So if you've moved around a bit, come back into your hip width position here. Again, facing forward to the front of the mat. I'm just going to face you guys so you can see me here. Arms come back up. So palms facing down, fingertips nice and spread apart. Connecting with that standing posture again. So come back into those principles of our nice standing posture. You're going to reach the shoulder blades apart again. So shoulder blades spread apart as the fingertips reach forwards towards the front of the mat. And then exhale, shoulder blades come back in together as they squeeze back. And then find the balance between those two. So find that position between those two extremes. So we're looking a bit more neutral here. And then we're going to wrap the palms towards each other, picturing your palms like your armpits. So as the palms come towards each other, think of the armpits kind of hugging in towards the sockets. We have nice set shoulders here. So nice connection to the upper body as we're standing here. Again, palms are facing forward at kind of chest height. Take a breath in and exhale, sit those hips back into our chair pose. And so hips sit back, again, connection in towards the core here to get a bit of support through the body. Finding your connection in as we inhale. Exhale, hands come in together at heart center, so thumbs can come in towards the chest. And then let yourself fold over the hips, fold over the thighs. Hands can come down towards the floor for a forward fold. So come into your support. If your low back doesn't like forward folds, make sure you use a support, use a couch, use something to lift yourself up. You should have your props in front of you if you want props to rest onto. And just let your forward fold kind of be your own here. So maybe the head hangs heavy. Maybe you let your head just rock a little bit. Maybe you press the fingertips in the elbow creases. Let gravity kind of pull that spine down towards the floor. Again, knees slightly bent here. So just find that forward fold that feels nice and juicy for your body here. One more breath in. Exhale, hands come down to the ground and just slowly bring yourself back up into our standing pose here. Back into our mountain pose, hands facing forward. Good. Inhale, arms come up overhead. You're going to reach and grab the right hand across that left wrist as you inhale, arms nice and long here. So we're standing here, nice long line. Take a breath in, find some length, and exhale over to the right side. So we're side bending, moving towards the right side, feeling the stretch in that left side body. So again, coming into the depth that your body is looking for tonight. Keeping that connection through the lower body. So if you feel like your butt's kind of sticking out, can you do a little bit of a squeeze, keeping that pelvis in line with the spine? Take one more breath in. Exhale, reach up. Hands come down. Let those hands flop side to side. And then inhale again. Arms come up overhead. Let yourself grab your right wrist with your left fingers. Inhale, nice long line with the body. And exhale over to that left side. So again, grounding through the feet, gluing that right foot into the floor as you feel your right hips kind of pushing to the right side as the arms are going over to the left. Taking a nice breath into that right side body here. One more breath in. And exhale back in through center. Arms come down, let the hands shake out there. Perfect. Coming back into our hands facing forward. So palms facing down towards the floor, fingertips spread apart. We should be nice and familiar here. Knees again, slight bend. So we're coming back into our nice sturdy legs. Again, a little bit of connection into the core as we're standing here. Coming into a little bit of a twist from the upper body. So I want us to be mindful here. Let's actually bring the hands back towards the hips here, just so you can feel. So you can kind of feel those pelvic bones facing forward, right? And so that's us kind of facing forward. We're going to come up with a little twist, but we're going to move more with the upper body versus moving with that lower body, okay? So just kind of keeping mindful of that position. Arms come back facing forward here. Palms can face each other. Again, if you've lost the connection here, you can always come back into your shoulder blade movement just to figure out where you are in space and come into that nice alignment in through the shoulders. Again, taking one breath in, picturing our arms like a bow in air. We're going to inhale, that right arm comes back behind us, kind of sweeping across the front of that right chest, letting your elbow come behind the body. And then inhale, coming back forward, bringing that right hand forward again. So I'm going to come nice and low so you guys can see me. We're going to inhale, that right hand comes back, kind of grazes the front of the right shoulder. So you feel that right shoulder blade reaching back behind you. So it's not going to be too deep here. And then bring the hand back forward. Good. As you play with this movement, so move with your own breath. Find some connection to the air too. So I want you to find a bit of connection to the muscles as we're coming into this kind of supported twist of the upper body. So maybe think of the air like a little bit thicker, maybe a bit like mud, just so you can find some effort and finding some control. So we're moving with intention through the air. If you want to, you can always reach that right arm all the way back for a full expression and bring the hand all the way back. Coming through a couple more like that at your own time. Again, keeping those pelvis facing as much forward as you can. Good. One more wherever you are. And then arms come down. Again, give those arms a little shake out. Any kind of movement that we need. One more on the other side. Again, arms come back facing forward, palms facing each other, shoulders connected, nope. Inhale in. Exhale, left elbow peels back behind you, left shoulder blade peeling back, a little twist on the upper body, and bring yourself back and forward. Moving with your own breath here as you open up through that twist, letting that hand expression move where you want it to. So you can always bring that left hand all the way back, letting your head move with the spine here. Again, not cranking, not twisting into discomfort, just find your own connection that works with your body here. Good. 2 more. And then bring the hands back down, let your hands sweep out there. Wonderful. Coming to the front of the mat, if we're not there already, again, keep your blocks, keep your props nearby, just so we have that support. Feet hip width apart, hands come in through chest here, coming back into our chair pose. Inhale in. Exhale, hips sit back, connection in through the core, connection in through those thighs. Good. Maybe wiggling the toes a little bit so you can feel the connection to the backs of the heels. Into that back body. With intention, move the hands down to either your props or to the ground, wherever you need the support, and bring that left foot back behind you and left knee down onto the ground. If you need to, you can wiggle the right foot forward a little bit. So we're looking to have that right knee just stacked over that right ankle. Hands are supported here. So we're having a bit of height into the spine. If you're too low, you might be rounded over that front leg. So make sure you have enough connection that you can feel yourself nice and supported onto the floor. Again, connecting to that right foot as we're in this position. Can you wiggle those right toes, spread the right toes across? Find the connection into the ground. And then bring that connection from that right foot up into that right thigh. And so think of sinking that right thigh in towards the socket. So now we have the right thigh kind of digging back a little bit to maybe keep that pelvis a little bit more level here. Good. From here, connecting to the shoulders. So again, keeping the shoulders nice and lifted. Maybe a little bit of squeeze in the backs of the shoulder blades. Chin tucked in. So we have a nice length from the back of the head to the back of the sacrum. Beautiful. Squeezing through that little pelvic tilt here. And so if you don't know the pelvic tilt, I'll go through it with a second. But maybe thinking of squeezing that left glute a little bit. So we're connecting to that left glute. Pelvis is tucking under, and you're feeling that length start to happen in front of that right hip. Left hip. If you need that connection, you can always come off the blocks, have the hands on the pelvis, and figure out that pelvic tilt from that half kneeling position. Once you have that kind of pelvic tilt locked in, left glute squeezed in, left hip opening up, bring the hands back down. And maybe walk the right toes forward an inch or two, so you can lunge forward just slightly here to deepen the stretch across the left hip socket without letting your spine round forward. So again, we're moving from the hips here. We have a little bit of connection in through that left glute, in through the core. Keeping that pelvis level here, taking a nice deep breath in and out. Again, some softness in through the hands wherever they might be. One more in and out. Good. Using your props or using your support to walk back a little bit. So maybe we're going to start to straighten that right leg a little bit as you walk the hips or the blocks back. You can come as far as you want to. So if you want to come to straighten that right leg as the right toes come to the ceiling, you can work as far back as you want to find that right hamstring stretch. Taking a couple of breaths there, again, keeping that spine nice and long, keeping the connection in towards the belly. And then exhale, walk yourself back and forward again. So I'll let you come through this in your own time. So again, it might be small movements, it might be no movements at all, but feel free to walk yourself back to work into the back of that right hamstring as the toes come up to the ceiling, and come back into that forward lunge. Again, feeling through, maintaining that connection through that level pelvis again, so pelvis is staying facing to the forward. edges of the mat. And just move as much or as little as you want to. Keeping yourself awareness to what works for your body. And what you need tonight too. If you kind of are in the mood for more stretching, you might want to hold a little bit longer. If you're in the mood for a little bit more movement, you might want to go back and forth a little bit more. So if we have moved back, just make yourself back towards that forward position here. So both hands are over to the front edge of that right foot. We're going to remove one block so the left hand is resting on our left block or our left prop here. Again, options as we go forward from this position. So if you don't want to do any twisting from here, you can always just stay upright and stay into your half kneeling position. If you want to come into a little twist, follow me here. So right elbow bend. So right elbow bend so that your hands can kind of tap on the top of that right shoulder. You're going to inhale to make a big circle with that right elbow. So inhale, right elbow comes up, forward, up towards the ceiling. And then as it comes back behind you, think of that shoulder kind of hugging back in towards the socket. Right shoulder blade again reaching towards that upper back. And that kind of guides the twist. Coming again in your own circle. So let yourself inhale, elbow comes down towards the floor. Good. As you exhale, let that elbow come up towards the ceiling. A big circle here. Finding that connection into that twist of the upper body that works for you. So we're trying to aim to kind of open up through that chest so as that elbow reaches towards the back edge of the mat. You can feel that shoulder opening up. Feel a bit of stretch in front and towards the front of the chest. Good. If you want to stay in that position, we'll just pause there. Again, connecting the elbow towards the back of the mat, feeling the fingertips in the front of the shoulder. If your shoulder is kind of dumping down towards the mat, what can you do to bring that shoulder blade back in connection with the upper body to open up the front of the chest? From here, we can straighten that right arm again, so the fingertips are reaching towards the back edge of the mat. A little twist here. And the option from here too, if you want to go ahead, you can always grab that left foot. You bend in that left foot if that's a deeper position that you want to go into. So just find your version tonight. Wherever you are is fantastic. And just take your time in that position. Taking one more breath. If you're holding on to the foot, slowly let go of the foot. If your arm is behind you, bring the hand back towards the blocks. And sweep that right foot back so we're coming into our tabletop position from here. Tabletop position, feet nice and wide, so hips nice and wide. Find some connection to the arms. We're going to come into little circles here. So kind of think of a circular movement as we hips sit back towards the heels. And then hips shift forward as the arms shift forward too. So just think of your torso, your hips kind of making a nice big circle here. Again, finding your own movement and groove here. And so again, if you want to just pause in the child's pose, if that feels better for you, please do. Otherwise, you can see kind of where your hips feel supported as we're moving in little circles or big circles. Forwards and back. Maybe you need to widen the knees a bit more. Maybe you want to sit all the way back, shift all the way forward. And then again, switch directions here with option to bring any movement that you'd like here. So maybe you want to come back into that shoulder blade control, shoulder blades pushing apart, shoulder blades coming back and together. Maybe the head's moving with you a little bit. So again, find a little variation that you feel your body wants to do tonight. And then pause in through center, hands under shoulders, knees under hips. Coming into a cat-cow. So inhaling, looking forward, belly drops towards the ground. And exhaling, curling under, tailbone tucks under, shoulders spread apart. Inhaling forward, coming into your cow pose. And exhaling, tucking under, coming in cat. Just doing a couple on your own pace, your own time here. So really take your time to move, take your time to find your groove here tonight. Moving with intention, as always, moving with how the body wants to, and guiding that movement with the breath. And then pausing in through tabletop position, finding some stillness here. So hands are stacked under shoulders, knees are stacked under hips. A little bit of connection in towards that core. So think of that belly button reaching up towards the spine here. Option to come back into downward facing dog or your child's pose. So find child's pose or find down dog. If you're going into down dog, toes curl under, hips come up towards the ceiling. And if you're in your down dog, just pedal the feet out here. Nice and slow. And then finding some stillness. If you're up and down dog, bring those knees back down into your tabletop. So we're all meeting in tabletop. Reach your hands for your props and reach your left leg through. So we're coming onto the other side now. So left leg steps through. Feet between the hands. Again, taking the time to find the connection of that left foot onto your mat. So spread the toes. Feel a little bit of support through the arch here again. Then tucking that left thigh in towards that socket. So if you're kind of opening up a little bit, think of hip in on the left side, right hip forward. Finding your connection here. If you need to lift yourself up to find your pelvic position, please do. So we're looking for a slight pelvic tilt. So this time think a bit of that right glute squeezing down to open up through the front of that right hip flexor. Keeping that connection, keeping that support on that right side as the hands come back down to the mat, with the option of curling those left toes forward an inch or two to dive a little bit deeper into that right hip without letting your back do the movements. If you feel like you're kind of arching or kind of sinking too deep through that low back, I want to find the connection through the right hip flexor instead. And once you're there, take a nice deep breath in. Nice tall spine. Think of that softness into the fingertips, softness into the hands as we're breathing here. Trying to erase the tension from the shoulders. Trying to keep that chin tucked, that length from the back of the spine. And again from here as we inhale in, using that exhale to guide the movement of that left thigh. So the option to walk your hands back as little or as much as you want to, with the option of bringing that left toe up towards the ceiling, left leg straightens. Again, trying to keep that spine nice and long here with that breath. And I'll invite you guys to move with your own breath. So stay where you want to or move where you want to. So you have the option of going back and forward into that hip flexor stretch on the right side and back that hamstring stretch on the left side. So take your time, again, find the connection to your own breath and to what your body wants tonight. You can pause as long as you want to. You can take as much air as you want to. And then we'll all meet forward wherever we are. So we're coming back into that half kneeling position. That right hip is stretching open here. Good. Right hips or right hand stays onto the block or onto your prop. Left hand comes up towards your left shoulder. So again, the option here, you can always just stay in your half kneeling position. If you want to come into a twist, left hand on top of that left shoulder. Inhale, left elbow towards the ceiling. Bring yourself into little circles here, leading with that left elbow and connecting with the movement of that left shoulder blade back so we can open through the front of the chest. So seeing if we can keep the connection into that left shoulder socket as we're reaching the elbow back. And next time that elbow comes back, just pause there. So seeing if we can keep the elbow facing towards the back of the mat. Add a little bit of a twist from the upper body with the option of straightening the hands here to reach the fingertips back as we're maintaining that left chest opening. Again, if we don't want to come into the twist, just come into your version of that sequence. With the option of bending at that right knee here and reaching that left hand back to grab onto that right foot, sorry. That right foot bends with the option of grabbing on. So lots of variations here. Lots of things to play with. If your hand is reaching that back foot, gently release that connection and bring the hand back forward and come back into your tabletop position. And any movements, any wiggles you want in your tabletop position before we come into our child's pose. So child's pose, big toe mounts together, knees nice and wide apart. Sit those hips back, bring the arms forward. You can connect the forehead on towards the mat, connect the forehead on towards your block. Find your child's pose that feels comfortable for you tonight. And we'll come into a little side stretch from here so we can walk the hands over to the right side of the mat. Maybe left hand comes on top of that right hand. Maybe left fingers kind of reach forward an extra couple millimeters to feel that left side stretching open. Take a nice breath into that left side body here. And hands relaxing down wherever you are. And then walk your hands back in towards center and over towards the left side. Again, right hand has the option of on top of that left hand. Maybe walk the right fingertips forward a little bit more to feel that length in that right side body here. Taking one more breath in. As we exhale, walk yourself back. Walk yourself into our tabletop position and then bring yourself to one side of your hip so you can kind of sit over towards one side of the hip so we can lie back onto our back here. So shimmy yourself back onto your mat, keeping your prop close, and so keeping your stretching strap in appropriate distance here. So bringing that stretching strap around the right foot. So right leg's going to bend in towards the body. Right foot hooks around that strap. Working to stretch those right back of the leg, right hamstrings a little bit more. A lot of options here. So if there's any low back difficulties, you can always keep that right knee bent a lot. You can always keep that left knee bent a lot as well. If you want to go deeper into with not irritating anything down the leg, you can bring that left leg straight. You can work to straighten that right leg and use that strap for as much or little support as you need to. Without the strap, you can always just hold support behind the right thigh. So again, find that connection to the mat. So we're maintaining the pelvis against the mat here, so making sure you're not letting go of your low back, you're not arching up at all. You're keeping connection of the low back towards the ground. Keeping connection to that breath as we're breathing in towards the belly. Keeping the connection to your choice of stretch. And just taking a few moments here. And being mindful not to reach or not to grab too much with the hands, and so maybe connecting to the back of the shoulder blades again. Can we keep the connection to the back of the shoulder blades are on the mat? And keep the connection so we feel the length of the back of the neck. And taking one more breath on this side. And exhale, slowly bend that right knee, releasing the strap from the right foot and gently switching sides. So you can keep that right knee bent on the floor as you support that left foot around that strap. And then slowly work to straighten that right leg. Straighten the left leg. Or again, you can keep that right knee bent to support the low back a bit farther. You can always have that left knee a bit more bent too. So all about finding your groove. Finding your stretch. Once you find that connection here again, come back into your breath cycle. Come back and see if we can slow things down, breathing in towards the belly. Slow things down. Find some stillness in the mind. And just taking your time here. Taking your time for what feels right. And that's the beauty of yoga, finding that mind-body connection. Trying to honor that whenever you can. Taking one more breath here. As we exhale, gently release the prop from the foot. Release the prop to the side. And doing any little wiggles that you need to when you need a chest to be rocking and rolling. Before you find your final Shavasana. So once you feel ready, finding our final Shavasana, taking your time to add any blankets, any props, using any pillows for the backs of the thighs, if you have a couch or bed nearby as well. The meeting is going to end, but I definitely invite you to stay here for a few minutes and then log back in, and we'll meet up in standing position so we can end class together, in sitting position. So please spend some time in your final Shavasana. Take a few breaths here. Spend up to as much time as you can. And then when you feel ready, slowly getting yourself up into sit.